Cowardice and comfort kill us spiritually. As I've been reading through the book of Judges, that's one of the lessons that's jumped out at me in a really surprising way, is that often walking away from God is due to cowardice or comfort. Now, maybe not directly, maybe not initially. You see, the children of Israel were sent into the promised land and they were given orders by God. And as they're going into the promised land, it says that the first generation who obeyed God and saw God work, and they walked with God. Like, they saw God do all these amazing things, and so they consistently and faithfully walked with God. But in Judges chapter 2, there's an interesting line that next generation that no longer had seen what God had done before, they did not obey and continue what God had given them. Judges chapter 3, it actually states that God specifically left obstacles or challenges for them to face, and this was important for them to grow. But because they avoided that, they did not see God work, and then therefore their hearts went away from God. And why are two reasons that people didn't challenge this? Well, we see these actually in the book of Joshua. Sometimes the people didn't go up and fight an enemy because they were afraid. They were cowards. They did not believe what God had said that would happen. A second reason that we see is that they were comfortable. There was a warning of this to the 2.5 tribes that stayed on the other side of the river that hey, you're going to get your cities and you're going to be fine. You're going to be enjoying them, and yet you're still not going to be committing to obeying God. How often in our lives do we fail to see God work because we're just comfortable? You know, we maybe go to a church that it meets our needs. We like the music. It fits our taste. Most importantly, it's online, so we don't have to usually go. How often we're like, hey, I know God's calling me to minister to somebody, but like it just seems like a lot of work. I don't want to get involved. It's messy. We look for ministries that can minister to us instead of that we can get involved and make a difference. And so comfort robs us of the ability to see God's work, which actually ends up damning not only our own souls, but those of our children, because they've never seen God at work either. Or sometimes it's cowardice. Sometimes we have a sense of what God's calling us to do, but we're afraid. We don't have all the answers. We don't know how it's all going to work out. We think it'll go poorly before. We admit that our skills are not up to the task, and so we back off of what God's calling us to do. I think the book of Judges, there's a lot of lessons from the book of Judges, but one of the lessons is that both cowardice and